How's it going, everybody? You got the Razman coming at you with a streaming showcase edition of the Razman's Reality. And today I'm reviewing for you Marvel's Jessica Jones, a Netflix original series. Now, when I first heard that Jessica Jones was being made into a series, I was very, very scared, to be honest with you, because if you know your comic book history and you know the character Jessica Jones, you know that if you're going to base any kind of visual representation around that superheroine, there's only one villain that you can showcase, and that is Kilgrave, otherwise known as the Purple Man. The reason that the inclusion of the Purple Man in any kind of representation visually of Jessica Jones would present itself a problem is that this isn't just a character who exhibits mind control. This is a dark, twisted, sinister character with no morals whatsoever, but it's a character who doesn't see himself that way. He sees himself as actually being justified in his actions because he is simply in love with the heroine, Jessica Jones. That, coupled with the fact that the character is 100%, as the name would suggest, a purple man in the comics, just screams this character can't be done well. With all that being said, my fears somewhat got lifted when I heard that one of the best actors on the planet, one of my personal favorite actors of all time, Dr. Number 10 himself, Mr. David Tennant. So when he was cast as the Purple Man, I was like, okay, I know he's going to understand the psychological, no pun intended, but the psychological complexities of a character like this. So I was a little bit more willing to give it a chance, but I was still really scared because this is a character very similar to the Joker in terms of the theatrics and the level that he pursues his madness. And would they be able to paint someone completely purple and have it be believable? Well, unfortunately, they decided not to do the latter. And that in of itself is one of the very few niggles that I have about the way the series was done. I wanted him to have his full-on purple face rather than have just purple clothing all the way throughout. And along with that came the fact that even though this is David Tennant performing this character, and even though it's a brilliant performance, one of the best villain performances I've ever seen, it could have gone a little bit further. I don't feel like the character was as evil as he should have been. And I think that strictly comes from the fact that this is set in the Hell's Kitchen universe that was established in Daredevil. This is a series that has a very realistic tone to it, and a world and a representation that has a very realistic tone to it. So you can't really dive too much into the unbelievability factor. So it was grounded a lot more in realism than what the actual Purple Man is. However, all of that is something you don't think too much about because David Tennant just throws himself 1,000% into this role, like everything he does, and he's so enjoyable to watch all the way through it, as is the lead actress who plays Jessica Jones, who I know really well as one of the leads on Veronica Mars, ironically another detective-based show, does a phenomenal job as Jessica Jones. And it becomes a story as it should be that's very character driven. You see why Jessica Jones took on the role of a detective. You see why she is very fearful of using her powers. And you see how everyone around her has been affected by Kilgrave, the Purple Man, and her own struggles, her own demons with him, and how they struggle through being mind controlled by him, and how everything gets to the point where it gets, where Jessica's forced to become the heroine at the end of this 13 episode arc. So it is, in my opinion, a better character driven show than was Daredevil season 1. It was exactly what this character needed to be in terms of a portrayal, if you're going to do it. And in the end, it's flawless. It is exactly what I expected it to be, but while, as I mentioned earlier, still hoping for more. So if you thought Daredevil did a good job at taking a complex origin story and making it relatable, you're going to really enjoy this because there's less with the Jessica Jones origin story that needs to be told, and it's much more character driven. It literally is about a young woman's life from the point where she is struggling to accept her powers, doesn't want to use them, all the way through full-blown heroin due to personal torture and victimization. You cannot get more character driven than you do in this arc. And I really can't say any more about it without breaking down each and every single episode. And I don't want to do that because every character in this series has their own strong individual arc, and I don't want to ruin anything for you. What I will say is, if you don't know a lot about the character, you don't have to. This is an extremely well done entity by itself. It feels like a TV show, not one based on a comic strip. So you can go into it blind and really enjoy it. And if you're about character driven police drama with a little bit of unbelievable comic theatrics behind it, you are absolutely going to eat this show up with a spoon. I give Marvel's Jessica Jones a 9 out of 10, based simply on what I said earlier and the fact that I would have preferred that they go a little bit more theatrical with the lead villain. Other than that, there's nothing I can really pick apart about this show. It's just very, very well done. Thank you to my first Patreon sponsor. I'm going to attempt to announce your name. You will see one more video after this one that was previously filmed where I said I don't know how to pronounce it. I still don't because I didn't get a reply back from you on my latest Patreon message that I saw. So please let me know how to pronounce your name properly. But I believe it's Purge Odin. So thank you to you for being my first Patreon sponsor. Please do consider becoming a Patreon sponsor yourself. No amount is too big, no amount is too small, and all of your donations will go right back into helping me do more great things for this show as a whole. If you've seen Jessica Jones, make sure you let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.